Hey everyone, today's daily sprint, we're talking about increasing our purpose, passion, and meaning, and I'm really passionate about today's subject. So we would be totally understanding of ourselves if, let's say, our uncle or a friend of ours called us and they asked us for money and this is all we had. This is all we had. $2 bill, pretty cool, right? We'd be like, I don't have it. I'm sorry, I don't have it. Can I maybe help in another way? Like, we would get that. Or if somebody came to us and they're like, hey man, I really need a sip of water, and it's like, well, this is all that I have for the family. Like, they would understand, we would understand, like, oh man, okay, sorry, everyone would understand. But when it comes to our mental energy, our focus, okay, here's the thing, what's funny is money is an infinite resource. You could always have more. Time and energy and focus are very finite. Have you ever gotten home where you just gave and your brain can't even think clearly, and maybe your kids run to you and you don't have any left? There's no more energy left, so you try to fake it, of course, and then your husband is like, hey baby, let's do a little frisky, and you're like, there's just nothing. It's not that you want to do a little don't want to do a little frisky. There's nothing there. That is when we've been given beyond our capacity. And when we give beyond our capacity, it's normally because we haven't implemented good boundaries, or we've gone above and beyond our boundaries and then have nothing left to give to those most. So something that I want to kind of take away from this is a couple things. You are responsible to people, and you're also responsible to yourself. So that's the number one reason you want to put boundaries in place. So like in business, you want to be transparent with your offer. Well, forget business. In life, you want to be transparent with your offer. If you're dating, hey, this is me. You don't want to be fake. You don't want to hide. If you're not into tight shirts, don't wear tight shirts on a date if that's not what you're into. Be transparent with your offer, okay? Do what you say you're going to do. If you're on that date or you're in that business conversation, you say, hey, I'm going to show up on Tuesdays, then you need to show up on Tuesdays. Or if you're on that date and you're like, hey, I'm always going to be an ambitious person, I'm going to be employed or do my best to seek employment, whatever it might be, then you need to do that. You need to say what you're going to do. It's part of being transparent. Providing a proven system. So this is more on the business end. Don't say that you provide something that isn't proven or doesn't exist, okay? And you need to show up at your best. So those are being responsible to other people. What we do in breaking boundaries, and when we just start to lose our energy and we don't have energy left for anyone else, is we try to take responsibility for people. So instead of being responsible to them and saying, hey, these are my work hours, this is what I'm going to provide, we try to take responsible for them. So if they choose to not show up, we're taking responsibility for that. Like, oh my gosh, they didn't show up. It must be all my fault. Okay, they didn't show up to practice today. As a coach, I should go to their home and ring the doorbell. Did your coach ever do that to you growing up? Of course not. Okay, that'd be taking responsibility for them. They're responsible to show up, and you're responsible to coach them when they show up. If they choose not to show up, you're not responsible for their circumstances. Now, you're responsible when they do show up to be empathetic, to listen, but you're not responsible for circumstances in somebody else's life. And when you try to take responsibility for that, other than playing God, you're not God, sorry to break it to you, but other than that, you're going to mentally drain yourself. You're going to be that, what we talk about in Macro Millionaires, that unsuccessful giver from the movie Give and Take. Okay, they have successful givers and unsuccessful givers, and that's when you're burning out. It tends to lead to a life of scarcity, maybe divorce, because you just don't have anything left to give to those that you love most. And another thing that you're not responsible for someone's emotions. Okay, that doesn't mean that if someone comes to you and they're upset that you're just like joy and happy. I mean, yes, you want to be positive, but you're not responsible for their emotions. Those are things that they're responsible for. I'm responsible for my emotions, my circumstances, and whether or not I show up. You are not responsible for that, okay? You don't have that kind of power over me or anybody else. So hopefully this is sinking in, helping you understand the importance of boundaries. You establish boundaries today so that you can be in business for the next 30 years of tomorrow or 50 years of tomorrow. That's why boundaries are important. And so the ones that you love most get the best of you and not the dirty leftovers because you've given beyond your means. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope to see you on the next daily sprint. Have a great growth-driven rest of your week.